What is post box rule? Yesterday we have discussed about offer and acceptance. In that we have also discussed about post box rule. कुछ याद नहीं आ रहा है? सब भूल गए? यस. हाँ, कम्युनिकेशन ऑफ एक्सेप्टेंस तो हाँ ठीक है, बट वो हम एग्जैक्टली रूल क्या बोलता है वो? हम रिवोकेशन कब कर सकते हैं? See, Ananya, communication of acceptance is not necessary through a post only. Okay, so what it basically is trying to say कि when the offer can be revoked, and this is what post box rule. Let me read the chat. Contract is considered to be formed as soon as the offeree posts their acceptance letter, not when the offerer receives it. No, 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 no. That is a completely different thing. The post box rule says about when the revocations can be done, when the offerer can revoke. Okay, and there is a two things. One is Indian law, and another is a common law. Wherein I have said that uh, acceptance can be revoked as per Indian law is when the offeree received the acceptance. Offerer received the acceptance, and not when the offerer. Can anybody able to complete the sentence? Monita, can you switch off your mic? Monita, can you switch off your mic? Yes. Yeah. See, post box rule says about that offerer can revoke his or her offer before the letter is posted or before the acceptance is communicated by the offeree to the offerer. Okay, and acceptance can be withdrawn when acceptance is received by the offerer. Okay, but suppose in between the journey time, when the letter is posted and the letter is received during this duration itself, the letter has been lost, then also it will be construed as a valid offer, a valid acceptance, and the contract is made. Okay, but however, in case of England, uh, uh, in common law, there is nothing called the acceptance can be withdrawn. The moment the letter has been posted by the offeree, the contract is made. The offeree has no right to revoke it afterwards. The acceptance is done. He can rescind it, right? I hope the clarity is there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so from yesterday topic, there is one mini topic I left, that is your special condition, communication of special condition. तो आप मान लीजिए आप लोगों ने, मुझे लगता है कि सभी ने ही अपने कपड़े कभी ना कभी ड्राई क्लीनर को दिया होगा. तो जब ड्राई क्लीनर को आप अपने कपड़े देते हो तो ड्राई क्लीनर आपको क्या देता है कि इनवॉइस देता है, और उस इनवॉइस में या तो आपने उस समय अमाउंट पेमेंट कर दिया होगा तो उसने लिखा होगा कि एडवांस रिसिप्ट, या फिर अमाउंट बाकी होगा तो वो लिख देता है कि हाँ इतना बाकी बकाया है आपका, है ना. तो बट उस इनवॉइस के पीछे में आपने देखा होगा कि छोटे छोटे नो वर्ड में टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन लिखा हुआ है. तो आप में से कभी भी किसी ने पढ़ा है उस टर्म्स एंड कंडीशन को? यू कैन रिप्लाई इन चैट बॉक्स ऑल्सो. सबने पढ़ा है? Apsana, I will call anybody's name here and then ask if nobody is going to reply me. Yes, Soumya. Yes, Ananya.
No,
Yes,
ma'am.
yes. Mostly no. Mostly none of the people's no read it. So in that case, do you think are you bound with those terms and condition?
Ma'am, yes, he or she is bound by the condition.
ओके तो मान लीजिए कि आपने जो अपने कपड़े दिए, मान लीजिए कि सपोज इफ यू हैव गिवन अ सिल्क साड़ी ऑफ योर मदर विच इज costing rupees 2 lakh rupees, okay, and in that terms and condition the dry cleaner would have mentioned that if any of no your stuff has been lost because of their negligence, then they are not liable for any payment.
It
So
is not valid condition,
why? It is one of the essentials, right? In what ground you are saying it is not a valid condition?
as it is not reasonable.
It is not reasonable, correct. So if in case of standard form of contract also I have mentioned about the reasonability. So if something which is not reasonable, then that can be avoided, that will not be considered as a functional clause or functional terms and condition, right? So this is one. Let me show you the PPT. So please read this case law, Mukul Datta versus Indian Airlines. This will be helpful for your exam purpose. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So today we'll start our new topic, that is we are left with consideration. So when we say about consideration, so what exactly it comes in your mind? Suppose if I give it, suppose Ananya, if I give you something and no, suppose my car to drive, and then you return it back, is there a consideration in this transaction?
Ma'am, no monetary consideration, but it's like to take care of the car and drive responsibly.
You have asked me that you want to go somewhere, and you have asked me for a car, and I have given you, and you have returned it back. So there is nothing responsible. It's anyways, when you take somebody's car, you are responsible to take care of it. So those are prima facie there always. But do you think there is a consideration here? What I
No,
received here?
ma'am, no consideration.
No consideration. So it's a valid contract or not a valid contract? So the transaction which happened between us, there is a that will amount as a valid contract or not a valid contract. First of all, will you consider it as an agreement or not?
Yes, ma'am, it is an agreement, but for contract, I'm not sure.
So for the purpose of agreement, there need to be a three element. One is your offer, second is your acceptance, and third is your consideration.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, anybody was saying something? So what I want to say that how important it is to be the terminology consideration need to be understandable. Okay, so the transaction which happened between us is your gratuitous transaction, right? So I have given you a car to drive. So and you have returned it after the work or after the task which you are for which you have taken the car. So this is something a bailment which we will study in later on period. Okay. So however there is no consideration here.
No
Correct?
consideration, ma'am. Yes.
Yes. So without offer, acceptance and consideration, it will not amount to as a valid contract. Because one of the essential element of a contract is your agreement between two parties. Or in order to be an agreement, The three elements should be there: offer plus acceptance plus consideration. You will get in your examination some case laws, which or some cases, some random case scenarios will be given, and you have to know answer those things applying your law. So you have to have very much clear about these concepts. Okay, which I am. Yes, yes, Swapna.
Ma'am, if any one of those three conditions are missing, then it will not amount to a valid contract.
Yes, yes, even a one element is not out of all the essentials, even one essential is not no there, then it is not a valid contract. So suppose there is an offer plus there is an acceptance, there is a consideration, or there is a free consent, or no any other element of is there, suppose, but the object is unlawful. In that case also the it will not amount to as a valid contract. Like I have given you an
Okay.
example of contract killing. Okay, just a minute. Yeah. So yes, now suppose Ananya, I have sold you that car. I said that no, no, you why you are asking for certain period of time. Yeah, I was anyways, I am not needing this car, so आप इसे ले ही लो and you pay me a $5,000. Okay. So आपने कहा कि हाँ हाँ ये तो डील बहुत सही है, तो आप मैम $5,000 ले लीजिए and you took that car. So what you received? Car?
Yes, ma'am. I received the car and you received the dollars.
Yes. So what is a loss for me? I lost car and you gained car, correct? You lost $5,000. I gained $5,000,
Yes, ma'am.
right? So there is one detriment and there is one gain.
Yes, ma'am.
And some in previous class I have given you one example wherein I have mentioned, yes, I have mentioned that if I will ask you that you anyways not having alcohol or smoke, but if I say that in future also you will not have no alcohol or you will not ever smoke, and I will pay you rupees 1 lakh, this is a valid offer we have discussed yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
So in this case what you are losing?
Ma'am, the future right to smoke.
Future right to smoke, and you are gaining uh, 1 lakh rupees.
1 lakh rupees.
Yes. So for your loss I am paying you 1 lakh rupees, right? So you are losing your right to smoke, and for that I am giving you 1 lakh rupees. So this is again a consideration. You are giving something to me and I am giving something to you. So the consideration is always mutual. It is reciprocal. Okay, so one must be getting and the other must be also getting, or matlab like either he's losing something or giving something which the other person is receiving.
Yes, ma'am.
So the definition is like that only. So right or interest or profit or benefit accruing to one party. So you are getting a car, and what is detrimental to me? I am giving the car, right? So something which I am losing you are gaining, and that's how the exactly what the consideration definition is saying. I hope now the definition is very clear. And suppose if I give you an example that you have asked me to file your ITR return. Okay, for that you are paying me 1,000 rupees. So what I am giving to you? My time for filing your ITR return. Okay, so that is a forbearance from my side. And what you are gaining? Filing of your ITR. Correct? This is the benefit you are accruing.
Yes, ma'am.
And the vice versa, if I say that you are losing 1,000 rupees and I am gaining 1,000 rupees. So there is always one loss and another gain. Similarly, what is lost to you is a gain to me, and what is lost to me is a gain to you. So that's why it is mentioned as right, interest, profit, or benefit accruing to one party or some forbearance, detriment, loss, or responsibility given, suffered, or undertaken by the other. Okay. Now, as per section 2D, when at the desire of the promiser, the promisee or any other person has done or abstained from doing. So, at the desire of the promiser. So, if somebody else, like yesterday, I have given you example that a flat instead of flat 01, the flat 02 has communicated you the offer. So, will that amount to be a valid offer? It has to be
Ma'am,
communicated by the promiser.
the offer should directly come from the offerer.
Yes. So and it should be at the desire of the promiser. It's like somebody else would not. It is not as per the desire of anybody else. So if I will, I'll give you an example for that. So at the desire of the promiser, the promisee or any other person has done or abstained from doing. So I'll give you one example for must be at the desire of the promiser. So suppose Ananya, I asked you to build a marketplace, and if you will build a marketplace, then I will whatever the merchandise I will sell in that marketplace, I will give you certain commission. You are a builder and you got a tender from the government to build a marketplace. Okay, and you have built that marketplace. Now am I eligible to give you the commission whatever the merchandise I am selling at that marketplace?
Ma'am, if the contract is up to our building of the marketplace, then why should you give the extra payment after the commission, after the marketplace is open?
Okay, what do you think, Jyoti Rashmi? Monita? Soumya?
No, ma'am.
So you're not okay. So Ananya is not responsible to pay any commission because it is not at the desire of the promiser. Marketplace is not built as per my desire, right? It has been anyways has to be built because she has received a tender from the government and she is liable to build that marketplace. Please, correct. Next is your the promisee or any other person has done or abstained from doing. Anybody has any idea about that? So the considerations, if suppose if I say that सपोज मान लीजिए कि मैं एक शॉपकीपर के पास आती हूँ एंड आई नो आई I asked to no I asked him to give me a iPhone and he gave me, right? And say the price is about 2 lakh rupees, and I said that ki, okay, this price uh, you pay the shopkeeper told me that this price you don't pay it to me but you pay to my son. Is it possible?
Ma'am, if the son is authorized as an agent of that shopkeeper.
Okay, so have you read about the doctrine of brevity?
Yes, ma'am. A third person. Privity says that one third person cannot to be party to a contract like that.
Third person cannot be a party to a contract. And we are saying about consideration. Can third person be a party to a consideration?
Yes, ma'am. If he is authorized.
So in contract also we can say that, na? Ki suppose if I say in this I can say that ki, okay, instead of paying to the son, if I say that okay, this 2 lakh rupees you take it from no, say my uncle. Okay, if I give you, I'll simplify the example. Suppose Indu went to buy a iPhone to a shopkeeper A. Okay, and Indu's uncle is Rajan. Okay, and now in first scenario, what happened? A asked the amount to be paid to this to his son. Now in the first scenario, the A's son is the party to the consideration, right? Now if you are saying ki, there can't be a third party, right? So if I say that instead of collecting from me, in from Indu, Indu said that okay, you collect this amount from Rajan. Is it possible? Is A able to recover that amount from Rajan? So there is a person. Uh, it is confusing or what?
Ma'am, as far as I know, the privity of contract can be also for the benefit of the third party. But ma'am, when the third party is not even linked to the contract or is not even aware about it, then how can anything be applied on this third party?
Okay, let's keep this topic pending. Okay, you think about it, uh, s- or let's complete this topic. Otherwise, it will be pending. Otherwise, right? So I'll give you example this. So we have discussed about contract, that in contract there can't be a party, third party, right? There can't be a stranger to a contract. But I have given you example that there is a son who is able to who is able to recover that amount or not. This is the question, right? So if I say that the shopkeeper, uh, when we are saying that there cannot be a stranger to a contract because of doctrine of privity. Okay, because the contract is happened between Hindu and the shopkeeper. Correct. Don't read this example. This is another example. Okay. So the concept is about there cannot be a second third party in between the contract. So when I say that Hindu and shopkeeper is having a contract, then only Hindu can sue shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper can sue Hindu for the transaction which happened in between them. Okay, but when I'm saying that the definition, what the definition is saying, your uh, the promisee or any other person, right? So it means that the consideration may move from promisee or any other person. So here, uh, even that amount can be recovered by a son because he is party to the consideration and not party to the contract. Contract is between Hindu and shopkeeper, but he is only party to the consideration. So a stranger can be a party to a consideration, but cannot be a party to a contract. And for that consideration amount, he can sue. Still confusing? Okay, let's keep it hold. Otherwise, we'll discuss it again. Okay, think about it. Next topic is your executed or executory. So when in the case of consideration, when we are going to buy suppose an iPhone, and at that moment itself we pay the amount 2 lakh rupees, then it is an executed. But when we are saying ki in future date if I will pay, then it is an executory contract. Okay. We have already discussed about act when I'm saying no, kuch karna hai, like filing of ITR return. So it is an act. But when I'm saying that ki you have to leave your future right to smoke, then it is an abstinence. Maybe past, present or future. So कंसिडरेशन आपका पास्ट कैसे हो सकता है? कंसिडरेशन के केस में क्या होता है, दोनों पार्टी को कुछ मिल रहा होता है, राइट? या एक पार्टी खो रहा होता है, एक पार्टी को कुछ मिल रहा होता है. So when yes, so when I am saying कि consideration may be past, so what do you mean by that? Because you would have studied in your LLB also.
The consideration amount was already paid. There is past.
An example?
Suppose A pay the consideration amount to B. Now B will do their work as per the contract. Means the A pay the amount to B, and it is upon B to fulfill the condition.
Okay.
For a promise that is made, the consideration has been already given in the past. For example, that the consideration, the promise was not made.
Last, what you have said, Ananya, the consideration?
Ma'am, when
The
the
promise not made.
consideration was received by the other person who is going to make the promise, at that point that promise did not exist.
ओके, सो यू मीन टू से दैट कि सपोज किसी को एक वॉलेट मिल गया एंड वो उसने उस वॉलेट को रिटर्न कर दिया रियल ऑनर को, सो उसने कुछ कर दिया है, राइट? मतलब लाइक ही हैज गिवन अ कंसिडरेशन, दैट इज रिटर्निंग ऑफ वॉलेट.
Yes, ma'am.
This is what you are saying. And now what? After 5 6 7 days later, the owner of the wallet felt that okay, he was such a great person and I should pay some amount to him. So do you think here and he decided to pay half of the money what is there in the wallet, say 1,000 rupees was there, and now after 7 days he's willing to pay 500 rupees to that owner, to the person who found that wallet. This is what you are saying?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is called as a valid consideration.
Yes, ma'am. Since
At the time
it's
of
an
at the,
real consideration.
everybody, yes, I got it. Yeah. So everybody think about it. At the time of receiving the wallet from that person who has found the wallet, that person, the owner of the wallet, has said nothing to that person. Okay. Or if you say Ananya has found that wallet and returned back to the to me. Okay, I am the owner of the wallet. But when I received from Ananya, I have not said a single word to her. But later, after 7 days, I realized, oh my god, I should have given no such a kind lady she is, and she has returned my wallet, and I should return. I should give some kind of amount to her, some kind of no, something to her. Like let me give a half of the amount what is there in the wallet. After 7 days, I decided, not during the time. So, do you think there is a consideration, valid consideration?
Ma'am, it can be said it is a past voluntary service.
Mm-hmm.
It cannot be treated as a consideration. So if you go through the quasi contract, there is a provision like that in quasi contract as well.
In quasi contract, that is unjustment. What is there in this here finder of good that you are trying to say? But that a different thing. We'll discuss in detail. Okay, but in this case, there is no consideration because I have not promised anything to Ananya. But if I have said, Ananya, that okay, I will definitely give you some amount, and then later on I give it, then only it will be considered as maybe past consideration, because I have received something and I have promised. But in future date, when I give it from my own, no, there is no such promise happened. Then in that case, Ananya can't sue me for that amount. Okay, please read this. Consideration should be given and accepted in exchange for the promise. And if the consideration is past, maybe the motive, but cannot be the real consideration of subsequent promise. Because see here, the I got a motive because she has returned that wallet to me, but at that time I have not said anything. So even if in the subsequent I am doing that, that cannot be considered as a real consideration. But if any past service has been rendered at the request or the desire of the promisor, the subsequent promise is regarded as an admission that the past consideration was not gratuitous. I hope it is clear.
Yes, ma'am.
And present and futures, you are aware that suppose that the transaction immediately happened in between, like you have bought the iPhone and you have paid that money, it is a present consideration. Future, that you have bought the iPhone and you are saying that in future you will pay the amount, then it is a future consideration. Or you can also do that ki you will get the delivery in future date and you will pay that amount also in future date. That can be also possible, wherein the both of the no for both of the parties the consideration is pending in the future date. Okay, this we have discussed. There can be a stranger to a consideration but not a contract. So when I am saying that A's son can recover that amount, like when the A is saying that my you can pay that 2 lakh rupees to my son, then there is a third party for the consideration, right? And if you are not paying that amount to the A's son, then he can recover that amount from Indu. Okay, and but when but when Indu is saying that you take Indu is saying to the shopkeeper that you recover that amount from my uncle Rajan, then shopkeeper can't sue Rajan to pay that amount, because the contract is not between. If suppose Rajan is not paying that amount to the shopkeeper, then the shopkeeper is not going to sue Rajan. He is going to sue only Indu, because the parties to the contract is Rajan, Indu and A, right? That's shopkeeper. But when the stranger to a contract is possible, we have discussed that in our second class or third class. We have discussed that one example wherein the parent has given an admission to a child. So there is the admission fees is paid by the parent to the school. So there is a contract between parent and the school, right? And the child is getting admitted there. So it is for the benefit of the child. So if anything, suppose a child is a major, suppose the admission is in a college. Okay, so if something happened there, suppose some course has to be taught by them and they have not, then he can sue that college also, because he is the beneficiary. So even if he is not the party to a contract, but he is a beneficiary, he can sue the college. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Similarly, the assignment. Yeah, there are certain scenario. Each topic we will discuss. So another is your assignment. So as in case of assignment, what exactly happened? What do you mean by assignment?
Ma'am, to transfer the right to someone.
हाँ, ऐसा कोई एग्जांपल, रियल टाइम एग्जांपल पता हो आपको?
Ma'am,
से
suppose I have a money decree,
हम्म,
so I assign another person to execute the same.
ठीक है, तो that other person will recover that amount because you have the payable. This is what you are trying to say, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The another example I'll give you. Suppose in case of bank loan. So many of time we have seen that people are giving their LIC policy or no or any other life insurance which they have, and they give it as a security and take loan. So in case what they are doing, they are assigning the right. They are what he is or she is doing that the assignment, the amount which is going to be recovered by his family, now it is going to be recovered by the bank if the person died before paying that amount. So even if the bank is not a party to a contract, now become a party to a contract because of the assignment. So not he's still not a party to a contract, but he, being a stranger to a contract, can recover that amount. Okay. Third point is beneficiary under the trust. So suppose if I say that Indu is a unsound person, and her father is no instead is very worried about Indu well-being, and being 90-year-old, he thought that who will take care of Indu. So he has made one trust, and he made the no his uncle to be the caretaker of that trust, and uh, so in that case, suppose uncle is not paying, Indu's uncle is not paying the amount to take care of her, then whether Indu is able to recover that? The agreement is between the Indu's father and the uncle of Indu.
Ma'am, as the
And
beneficiary, you can.
yes, it is the same example like that, but it is in a but there is a formation of a trust. So even if there is a trust wherein there is a party, the trustee and the settler is two different person, and the beneficiary is Hindu, then also in from trust also even the beneficiary of the trust can also recover that amount from the trust, even if she is not the party to that. Okay. The fourth point is your family settlement. So suppose there is a family settlement between two sons. Okay, that let's divide the property between each other after the death of the father. Okay, and both of them decided to pay to take care of the well-being of the mother, and they both have decided, okay, they will pay some 10,000 rupees each to mother, and this they have entered into a written agreement. Then it is enforceable, and the mother can recover that amount from both of the son, even if the mother is not the party to the contract. If you can say in another way, beneficiary to a contract is again able to sue that, even if she is not a party to a contract. In case of certain marriage contract, so the key part is again the beneficiary only. So but there are different arrangement. Okay. So in case of trust, or in case of family settlement, or in case of certain marriage contract, so suppose if I'll give you an example that husband and wife के बीच में हमेशा बहुत झगड़ा होता था, and wife जब भी झगड़ा होता था अपने मायके रिटर्न कर जाती थी। तो ऐसा 2-3 बार होने के बाद फोर्थ टाइम पे जो है वाइफ के फादर ने कहा कि आई विल नॉट सेंड माय डॉटर बैक. So husband said कि no, please send her back. I will not ill treat her, and if I will ill treat, then I will pay say 1 lakh rupees to her as monthly allowance. And again fifth time he mistreated her, and she came back. In that case, even if the wife is not the party to this earlier transaction between what happened between her father and the husband, she is able to recover that amount from the husband. Yes, you can again think about that. She is the beneficiary, so she can able to recover that. But what is the important here? The contract is between two different person, and the third person, even if she is a stranger, she is able to no, sue the party to a contract. Acknowledgement or estoppel. So you would have no, read about that. If some certain person is representing themselves, what he or she is not, then he will be stopped by that representation. So if I give you an example, in case of partnership firm, suppose if certain person is representing himself as a partner to an outsider for with regard to a loan amount which an outsider has given to a partnership firm, and he said that ki if the other partner has not given, then I being a partner will give that money to you. Now do you think that that outsider will able to recover that amount from that person who has no, represented himself as a partner?
Yes, ma'am. He has the right to recover from the person who has represented that he is the member of the partner.
He's not a partner, but for that transaction only he became a partner. Okay, he will be stopped by that representation, but not for any other transactions which happen, which we will discuss in Indian Partnership Act.
It is
uh,
holding out. This concept is called holding out. Like,
Yes, yes, it is holding out only, but for all other transactions, suppose if there is a no revenue which is getting, suppose if for any other transaction, third party is going to give certain money to the firm for the services he has taken. So, do you think that amount also to be given to this person who has stopped himself? No, right? So he has
Yes,
stopped himself. He has stopped himself for that liability. So for that liability only, he will be construed as. Okay, in the case of covenant running with the land, you have read this in Transfer of Property Act. What is covenant running with the land? Any kind of precondition has been mentioned about that. So if the subsequent buyer, suppose if both suppose the buyer and seller, suppose I and Somya is doing a land dealing, and I said that ki, Somya, look, this property has to be kept proper, since I am living just as adjacent to this land, so don't raise the height of the building, otherwise I will not able to have air and light in my building. So there is a covenant running with this property which I have given it to Somya, right? So if Soumya sell it to a subsequent person, that subsequent person is also has to obey that covenant, because it is running with the land. So even if the successor is not the party of the transaction between I and Soumya, the other person has to obey it. I hope it is clear. Or I
Yes,
yes,
can
ma'am.
ma'am.
give, yeah, yes.
Ma'am,
So
it is permanently benefit for the property. This is the concept in Transfer of Property Act.
yes, 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 yes. Okay. The last point is contract entered into through agent. So for creation of agency, consideration is not required. So in the, hence again, but we are reading about the okay. So there is two concept. Okay, when we are saying about consideration, so for the agency, if you're creating an agency, if you're not paying anything, then also agency can be created. Okay, this is not a part of this example. We are reading about contract entered into through agent. So if an agent is entering any contract with third party on behalf of principal, and he is working under the authority, then that is a valid one, and the principal is bound with that transaction. Okay, in real life we are always seeing that. Okay, so we have discussed that without consideration there is no uh, contract, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
But there
Yes,
but
ma'am.
there are this but there are exceptions, which is one, your love and affection. So suppose if your father is giving suppose your father is giving a 5 lakh rupees, uh, if you will clear judiciary examination, or if you will not clear also, suppose since you have appeared that exam, he is happy that you have tried, he is giving you certain amount. So he is doing this with love and affection, right? If there is no criteria also, like he has just looked that okay, okay, you are working so hard, and he's very happy. There's no condition attached, it is unconditional, and he's just giving you a 5 lakh rupees because he is happy. Okay, so something which is done with love and affection, and that transaction should be written and registered, then only it will be enforceable. If it is not written and registered, then it is not enforceable. Okay. Is it clear or having confusion?
Clear, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. Second part is your compensation to a past voluntary services. This I will give you as a task. Okay. So you keep it as a pending. Try to
Ma'am,
understand what
like
exactly it says.
ma'am, like in the recent example that a person find the wallet and he give the wallet to the proper person, so then it is considered as past voluntary service.
Yes, yes, it is a past voluntary service, but uh, you just research it over further in that. What is the difference between the earlier discussion which I had, and what exactly the differentiation here it is? Because
Okay, ma'am.
what, yeah, earlier we have discussed, right? In if in the consideration may be passed, but the payment, but it should be at the desire of the promisor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now third point is pay time bar debt. So in the limitation act, it is mentioned that there is a 3-year period during which the debt has to be paid. If it is not paid, or it is not no asked to be for a payment, then you cannot recover that amount. Right to sue is gone for recovery of that amount, right? So if in case if in case there is the other party who has to supposed to make the payment has not paid for 3 years and voluntarily decide to make the payment, and he has written, no writ- gone for a written agreement, and the same has been signed by the debtor or his agent, then it is recoverable. But if this three thing is not there, then it is not recoverable, because right to recover has gone. Fourth point is your gift. So if in case of, as we have discussed that in case of any valid transaction, offer, acceptance and consideration should be there. But here the person is giving something without receiving any kind of amount or anything from the other person. But many of time we have seen that certain gifts happen in our daily life, like you have given a pen to somebody, that will not amount to a consideration, that will not amount to a valid contract also, until unless it is written and registered. And for gift, there is no such amount restriction. Even for a small amount also, you have, if you're doing it a gift, then it should be written and registered. Like for in case of immobile property, what is there, that if any transaction which is not more than 100 rupees, then it is not required to be no registered. Through delivery also, it is a valid one, valid transaction. But when we are saying about gift, then even if the amount, there is no even if it's a small amount also, it should be written and registered. Fifth point is your remission. What do you mean by remission?
Ma'am, to decrease like that, I mean, to decrease the performance, like
Yeah, so you have agreed for 5 lakh rupees. Now the other person has negotiated, and later on the contract has been modified for 4 lakh rupees. Now you have reduced the receivable amount from 5 lakh to 4 lakh rupees. So it is a remission. So this is also a valid consideration, because this reduction happened without any receipt. You are not receiving anything from the other party for doing this reduction. Sixth point is your charitable subscription. So we have discussed at the time of agreement. We have discussed that which are called as agreement and which are not called as contract. So for agreement, in order to become a contract, what element has to be there in further thing required in along with agreement? Agreement has to be enforceable by law.
Enforceability.
Yes, enforceability. So in case of domestic transaction or any social arrangement, the enforceability is only possible when there is an intention to enter into a legal relationship, right?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Obviously the other part should be also there, like it should not be for any unlawful object or unlawful anything is there, that to be seen. But in case of domestic arrangement, even if the other element is there but the intention to enter into a legal relationship is not there, then in that case it will consider as a social arrangement and it will not amount as a contract. Similarly, for the any kind of religious transactions which happen, like suppose if you're giving to the pandit that 100 rupees, uh, you gave it to pandit to for certain rituals which has to be done there, okay, at the temple. So what do you think, if the pandit will not do that ritual, will you about to recover that amount from the pandit?
No.
Because it's a religious thing. So this here also, there is no contract, it will consider as an agreement only. But suppose if you have given certain amount, say for no doing the whitewashing of your the temple, or you have given to build certain part in the temple, and because of that, since you have promised or you have no promised to incur the expenditure, or you have given certain amount to that, on that, then in that case, on because of your promise, if the temple management people has incurred certain liabilities, then in that case, the temple management person can recover amount from you, okay, only to the amount of liability they have already incurred, but not with for the rest amount. Suppose if you have denied later on, they will not able to recover that amount from you. Only the amount which they have already incurred because of such promise, that they can able to recover it. Okay, so this is what it says, charitable subscription to the extent of liability incurred. And one case law is there that you can refer it. Seventh point, we will discuss about special contract. So in case of bailment, agency, guarantee, even if there is no consideration, then also these are the valid contract. So if I have given a car to Ananya and she has not returned it, I can sue and recover that car from her. That is a bailment, a gratuitous bailment. Obviously there is a no certain amount to be given, like for the bailment also, like when you open lock when you know open a locker in the bank, then again this is a bailment only. We will discuss in detail when we are doing bailment, agency and guarantee. Okay, this is the question for you. We have already reached to a time, so please let me know what is the answer of this question. We have discussed this entirely in detail. Just try to consolidate your understanding.
Ma'am, I think Chote can sue because this covenant has to be followed by the successor of this property as well. Sohan's property.
Yes. So he will recover it as what? As a stranger to a contract or as a stranger to a consideration?
Ma'am, I'm not sure about this.
Anybody else? Okay. So this is the classic example wherein both is there, stranger to a contract as well as a stranger to a consideration. Okay. So what is happening? Uh, Mr. Sohan is recovering 550 lakh plus he's giving, when he's selling the 10-acre land, he's actually giving what, 9 acre for the purpose to Mohan, and 1 acre he's taking for Chote, right? And he's also taking 50 lakh rupees. So he's a stranger to a consideration. He's what Chote is receiving from this transaction. Chote is receiving 1 acre land. When I have mentioned that shopkeeper's son, A's son, is receiving 2 lakh rupees from Indu. So what actually the benefit, what consideration shopkeeper's son is receiving? That 2 lakh rupees. For that 2 lakh rupees, he can sue Indu. Correct? So because he was stranger to a consideration. So here Chote is receiving what? 1 acre land. So he is a stranger to a consideration. Also, with this transaction, he is a stranger to a contract as well, because there is a covenant going to be through this transaction. A covenant is attached with the land. Okay, it is a little confusing, but this will clear your entire concept. So, what is the difference between stranger to a contract and stranger to a consideration? Stranger to a consideration is a party to the contract, but consideration is given by the third party. So, uh, confused with this definition? So, when I'm saying that Hindu shopkeeper and your A's son, so the A's son is able to sue your Hindu for recovery of that amount, right? So even if he is not aware about that with that transaction, but he is receiving the consideration, so he become the party to this entire transaction. But when Indu is saying that recover the amount from my uncle, then in that case, shopkeeper is not able to sue Rajan, his her uncle, okay, because he is not party to a contract.
Yes, ma'am.
And yes, so I'll make it clear more by this example. See, read this example. Just a minute. Um, A buy book from shopkeeper, but the amount paid by A's father. Okay, here A's father is stranger to a contract, because who's paying the amount? A's father, and what A is receiving? A is receiving book. So he's the person who is receiving the consideration. He is not paying any amount to the shopkeeper, right? So here A's father is a stranger to a contract. If shopkeeper delivered a wrong book, can A's father has right to file a suit? Obviously not, because he is not a party to a contract. The contract is between A and the shopkeeper, right? But what A is receiving? A is receiving a book, so he is party to a consideration. He is a stranger to a consideration, right? The consideration is given by third party, that is A. So in this case, A received book but not paid a money, so he is receiving the consideration. uh, By receiving book, he is not giving anything to shopkeeper. Okay, so he is a stranger to a consideration, because consideration is moved from third party, that is his father. However, his father is not a party to a contract. Is it clear? If it is confusing or you're not able to understand this, I will again repeat it in our no, tomorrow's class. Try to no, go through this slide again. So the whole concept is, the consideration for an agreement may proceed from a third party. The third party cannot sue it, like the father, he cannot sue it, right? Only a person who is a party to a contract can sue on it. Thus, the concept of stranger to consideration is valid and is different from stranger to contract. However, I have given you another example where how the person is both. So, if in your exam, suppose if this question is coming, stranger to a contract, stranger to a consideration, doctrine of privity, exception to it, if you will have this entire understanding, then it will be a very good answer. Is it clear, or still somebody is having doubt? Kishan, any query on it? Monita? I hope it is clear. So now I would like to take any questions which you have from previous class, or from this class. Or else, if there is no question, we will end our session today little early. No question?
Ma'am, can you repeat stranger to contract again?
Okay. So let me. Just a minute. I think there's some problem. I'll discuss better. Okay. So what exactly stranger to a contract is? Like stranger to a contract means that he's not a party to a contract. So when I'm saying that, सौम्या, suppose you went to a आप एक किसी शॉपिंग मॉल में जाते हो और आपने कोई बुक डिसाइड किया है परचेज करने का, बट यू डोंट हैव द मनी एंड योर फादर हैज पेड फॉर दैट मनी फॉर दैट बुक. So you have bought that book from the shopkeeper. The transaction happened in your name only, but the amount has been paid by your father. So in this case, the transaction is the two parties, you and the shopkeeper. So the contract happened between you and the shopkeeper. But what your father is giving, only money. He's not a beneficiary in the transaction, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So when we are saying that exception, when we are reading, the person has to be a beneficiary. Then only he is allowed as a stranger to a contract. But here he is not a beneficiary. He just paying amount. He's not receiving anything from you. Neither he has any benefit from this transaction. Now, so the contract is between you and shopkeeper, not between you, your father and the shopkeeper. And suppose if you have told the shopkeeper to recover this amount from your father, because your father is not nearby, and you just made a bill, and then you're saying that your father will come and pay him. Okay, and your father has not paid that amount to the shopkeeper. So what do you think? Who will recover? Whom the shopkeeper will sue to recover that
From
amount?
me. From me only.
To you or to your father? From you. So here, if you're saying that you are here in this entire transaction, you are the beneficiary. You are not paying any amount to the shopkeeper. You are receiving the book. So you are getting a consideration, correct? As I mentioned, the consideration is for you. The consideration is book. For the shopkeeper, the consideration is money. There is no third party in this. No third party is getting any benefit from this transaction, right? So in this case, the stranger to a contract is your father. Your father though recover from money from you, like if there is a legal relation between, no, you have promised that you will pay that money, and intend to enter into a legal relationship with him, so that is recoverable by him, but that is between you and your father, not between the shopkeeper and you, correct? So in this case, he is a stranger to a contract, and you are a stranger to a,
Consideration.
and you are the party to a contract as well here. But suppose if the transaction happened between you, your father and the shopkeeper, and the book is for you, so you are getting a consideration. Shopkeeper is getting consideration, and this whole transaction between your father and the shopkeeper happened for the reason of your benefit, correct? If the entire benefit is going to you, then in that case you are the benefit, you are the third party in the consideration, and you can sue if the shopkeeper will not pay, give you the book. But the transaction which I have given, in that there is two things happening. One is covenant running, another is your 50 lakh rupees, one is your 1 acre land. So this is the example, this is the best example which contain every element of the understanding. So you read this example again, and try to understand the whole concept. I hope now it is clear, Soumya, or still a
Yes, yes,
confusion?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Got it.
Okay, yeah, yeah. And everybody is also clear with void. What is void? Especially declared as void, illegal contract, or your void agreement, void contract, everything, right? You might have thinking that we should be reading from Bare Act, so that there will be a structure. See, this thing which we are doing is the foundation work. If you will read the, suppose if I will know share the Bare Act, let me share the Bare Act also with you. So we have already understood this definition. When the person to whom the proposal is made signifies his assent thereto, the proposal is said to be accepted. A proposal, when accepted, become a promise. So we have already understood this, right? The person making the proposal is called the promiser, and the person accepting the proposal is called the promisee. When at the desire of the promiser, the promisee or any other person has done or abstained from doing, this is your consideration. Every promise and every set of promises forming the consideration for each other is an agreement. So if you see, all this definition is what is given here. We have understood it in a very detailed manner. We have But if we are going through an no through an Bare Act, you will having just, if just the just only reading the language will not give you much help. Communication, acceptance, revocation of proposal, we understood this. Communication when complete, we have no have also understanding of this. Revocation of proposal and acceptance, this also we have completed. So this is how you just know, after the class also you can also go through the Barrett and just see that what whether we are completing each and every topic or not. Okay. So if you have feeling that okay, this concept is still pending, then we can discuss that also. But as per my understanding, what is like, if we will understand the foundation very clearly, like the way we are doing, then you have the clear understanding of any questions, like any case laws came to you, or any kind of scenario is put to you, you have an understanding that what should be the answer. Because any case laws also come with the understanding of the law only, they will not deviate from the concept. There will be interpretation of the law itself. So if you have an understanding of the law itself, then you will answer any kind of scenarios or any kind of question put to you. Okay. So please go through also with the Barrett and just see that what at what stage we are, and how your understandings are there. Whatever is written in the Barrett itself, you have clear understanding of each and every word or every concept or not. Okay. Shall we end the class?
Yes, ma'am.
No
Thank you, ma'am.
questions? Yeah, thank you very much. Good night all.